So good afternoon everyone. It's a very different occasion for me to speak on. It's not a regular one for me which I am used to. Yeah, I told Amrita Dass as well. I said this is a new scenario for me. I haven't met her mother, but I heard about her mother's glorious past and contributions, and she seemed to me like iconic women which many young women would want to copy as a role model. So I really feel very proud that I am here. There was a time when I started thinking about that what to talk on, and I said, being a management field, I will not talk management. I think these are the occasions when we are coming out of our routine life, daily lives, and we should spend time doing something different, thinking something different, and aspire to do something different and rediscover again together that are we on the right track. Possibly years together, our life has been so formatted, so routinized that we never have a time to take any minute off our routine and just challenge ourselves that what are you doing? Do you want to do this? And I feel always I got a different answer, that I should do my role, but I'm not equal to my role. And this is what I'm going to propagate today also, that all of us are a human being first. But over the years, what has happened to us? We have become human doing. We are in a rut, we are in a race, and we are running the race mindlessly. And if you stop someone in that race and say, why are you running? This fellow will say, everybody is running, so I am also running. So I found an answer, and I think I will propagate that to everybody, that enough I have lived for others. This is the time to live life as you want. This is the time to break away all the conventional bonding on you. You were caged so far. We were the prisoners of some of these stereotypes. And this is the time to break away all those. So my strong argument today is going to be that let us revive, let us revitalize that human being part in all of us, which has taken a back seat somewhere. Why it is an autopilot mode? Because we have stopped processing any information and we respond to things by habit. We have been programmed, and now what happens is that, therefore I used the word mindlessly. We don't have to be present in the moment to appreciate what is going around, what it needs to respond to, and we just tend to respond because we have already rehearsed certain things. When we are living a life, what is life for us? How do we define life? Is life an achievement? Is life an output? Or life is a process? Do I need to reach somewhere? If I say life is an output, then I need to keep on achieving. And there is no end to output. So I become equal to output. Some of it was by choice. Some of it was not by choice, but I had to. Do I cherish that? I never found a very convincing answer that whatever I do, really I wanted to achieve that. I have achieved many things. But then possibly what I wanted to achieve is still not achieved. So life is not chasing. So stop chasing. It's a mirage. The moment you will reach the first milestone, it becomes taken for granted and you start craving for something next. I don't think life is all about proving yourself, right? So life is equal to not achievement. Life is not equal to outcome. I think life is a beautiful journey. Life is an enjoyment. The purpose was not to do. Purpose was to do something with enjoyment. And look at performance appraisals are driving us, job is driving us, stress driving us, then I think we have stopped living. We don't have to achieve, yeah, we have to enjoy. This point onwards, I would narrate certain sequences that how we can get back to being mindful. So today I am totally into this subject, and thereby I will talk about being human being, how to get back to human being. And very important part of getting back to human being comes out of your being part. So has anybody discovered that what is the being part in all of us? We all know human doing, but life is all about doing. So this is where I turn to be a machine, right? Machine, you give the input, output is going to come. Are we robots? Possibly not. Today we are moving towards the era of artificial intelligence where most of whatever we do can be replaced very easily by artificial intelligence. Machine learning will drive the decision making, yeah, because they are smarter ones. So what happens to human being? Are human being going to become equal to machines? So we have to be smarter than the smartphone, you know? So we have to rediscover ourselves that whatever things are very routinized and programmed and algorithm based, where you don't have to apply your mind, the habit drives you. I call it habit. Heuristics are already driving you. No challenge in life. Then we have stopped taking challenges and we are loving the status quo and we are repeating ourselves and we are not actually rejuvenating ourselves. We have to take a jump from this status quo. We have to shake the status quo somewhere, asking another very pertinent question, that what is in it for me now rest of the life? One life only, one life. And I think I have a huge charter for my life. Yeah, I never think, I already started counting that my director's days are 4 years something, not 5 years. Yeah, after 5 years, I still have my life. During 5 years, I have my charter. Now, charter is not equal to me. Remember the purpose, that why we are here. Now, how can we do that? So some of us have to come back into that being mode by bringing our feeling mode. Now, how come the feeling mode can come back to us? This feeling mode is equal to being present in the moment. If we start focusing on this factor, that are we present in the moment, I think more than 50% problems are taken care. Yeah, we let the moments pass unattended and we are not able to capture it, not able to analyze it, not able to respond to it. So when responsiveness is reduced, how can we enjoy life? How can we see something meaningful? How do we add value? So when the stimulus comes, you know how to respond. There's a stimulus response theory. Anybody from psychology here? Psychology happens to be my subject. Yeah? Alright. So whenever there is a stimulus, there is a response. If there is no stimulus, there is no response. Yeah? And when this SR is bonded very well and it is repeated number of times, it gets converted in terms of what? Habit. So the moment stimulus comes, response goes away. Sometimes I don't even realize how the response goes. Yeah? And that is what has to be reduced. Alright? So how do we change that? Let's understand how we have become programmed and then we will learn how we can alter the scheme. So first let us understand how this programming has been done to all of us. There is a certain way of response we have already learned. Number one, when we say stimulus response, again I will take help of the audience, that in what form this stimulus comes to you. You respond to stimulus definitely, but in what form the stimulus comes to you? Stimulus comes to you in the form of thought. Alright? This is a cognitive process. Now when we say sun is calling, yeah? So what happens? Sun is calling is thought. Boss is calling is a thought. Yeah? I am hungry. It's a thought. So any stimulus comes to you in the form of a thought, and that is a cognition. Alright? Cognition can be programmed. And that's the reason programming is done. Yeah? Now, the moment we say, I am hungry, it's not only a thought. It is also an image following with that. What is the image? Image is that I start visualizing some food. When you say, my mother is calling, it's not simply a thought. Mother comes accompanied with mother's picture. The thought is coupled with image. That is also cognitive process. So that's so cognition is still, and therefore it can be programmed. But there is a third component, and this comes as a package deal. Alright? It doesn't come one at a time. It comes as a package deal. So when I say that my mother is calling, so mother's face, visual, and also suppose my mother had asked me to bring something, that when you come back, you bring something from me. Now I have not got it. Now mother calling, what kind of thought it is? Pleasant, unpleasant? You are happy, unhappy, comfortable, uncomfortable. Now there is a feeling factor associated with that. So no thought and image comes in isolation. Thought and image comes coupled with feeling. Now one-time thought, creating one-time image in me and creating one-time feeling in me does not become my orientation. Alright? But when the similar thoughts start creating similar images and similar kind of feelings in me, it starts converting little more deeper kind of thing in me, and that is known as beliefs, stroke assumptions, opinions, values, judgments, interpretations, right? All of it put together. So there is a huge repository out here where all the experiences are put. Yeah? You don't have to pull out the experience minute by minute. Programming has been done because repository has been created, and this repository is used for a ready-made interpretation to a new stimulus. Whenever it enters, I know how to respond to it. Because if you think about sensation, how do you define sensation? Pre-perception, it's a neural impulse. It travels with your nervous system. Once it reaches that repository, then only making sense happens. So a body in coma does not make sense. Does receive, doesn't make sense. But a living body provides interpretation. Where the beliefs come from? Which day you gathered belief? When did you acquire a particular belief? None of us are aware. Nobody knows I am creating a belief today. Isn't it? Till this point, are you aware that which day you created a new belief, new assumption, new interpretation which drives you? Which drives your behavior? Which drives your action? Possibly we never realize that day. Yeah, but it does happen. So it is already programmed. It's already there in me, but I don't realize it. Therefore, my terminology, we are running in a autopilot mode because we are not doing a fresh processing of the information whenever a new stimulus comes in front of us. Should I respond like this? Should I respond like that? Story is not ending here. After belief, what happens? I have a belief and I also hear others' belief. So I learn from my experiences. I also learn through others' experiences, and therefore I say vicarious. All of us learn through vicarious learning also. You know, nothing has happened to me. Something has happened to my friend, but that has become a reality to me. So I have borrowed that assumption also. Have I tested the reality separately? Have I done the different kind of experiment on my life to prove it wrong? No, but we have assumed it, isn't it? So we have borrowed it and we have taken it, and that's how it becomes all the more dominant in me, all the more pakka. And that pakka thing is known as attitude. Alright? Now, attitude is either favorable or unfavorable. Attitudes are never neutral. There is no neutrality in attitude. Therefore, there is no neutrality in behavior also. Do you see? It is leaning forward to. Either it is leaning towards the positive side or it leans towards the negative side. So you have an opinion. Either you are pro or you are against. And that's how when any kind of stimulus comes, my choice of action is ready. So action comes filtered through attitude. Preceding action is attitude. Preceding attitude is beliefs. Preceding beliefs are rehearsal. Look at. So this is how autopilot mode has set in all of us. So now I know stimulus and habit. Stimulus and habit. So to break away this mindset, habit driving you, and being aware that what is happening to me, I will decide how it is happening to me. So let us talk about that, how do we change it. I gave you a term. I said you need to be present in the moment. You need to be aware. There is a term used that awareness pays off. What happens to our awareness today? Are we present in the moment?
At the moment, yes.
Okay. Are we capturing moments? So I think some of us do, but some of us will suddenly wake up and say, what? Oh, is it? When did this happen? Oh, you were sitting there when it happened, but you were not present in the moment, no? So are we capturing the moments? Are we creating the moments for ourselves? Look at today, we are so fake in creating moments, and we feel fake happiness also thereby, that we have captured it. We haven't captured it. We go for a lovely scenic place. Suppose there is a fountain, some river, some mountains are around. You go there and your entire energy goes into clicking selfie. Yeah? When you come back, then you flip the photograph and say, oh, we went there. There was a fountain there. There was a river there. You were not present there. You let it go. And this happened to our moments as well, that we let them go. Either we are cribbing, either we are overexcited, or we have already assumed what it is and we let it go. So we are not capturing it. So the practice we need to do now onwards is to remain in the present, capture the moments, create your own moments. Genuinity pays off. We are suffering with lack of empathy. Yeah? Why there is a lack of empathy? Because there is no sensitivity. We are not sensitive. What a person sitting next to you is facing, we don't have time to look at that person. Yeah? Some accident on the road, lack of empathy, because we are not able to put ourselves in that position, we say somebody will do it. Yeah? Who is that somebody? So we have become passive. We are on an autopilot mode. Second, we are like a machine, so we stop feeling. Because we have stopped feeling, so there is no empathy. So empathy takes a back seat. So what happens? My job, my pressure, my kid, my mother, my family, that's it. So we define a very narrow boundary to manage. Yeah, and this is where we say everybody is self-centered today. Who is self-centered? We need to ask first ourselves. Yeah, self-centered. Who is self-centered? Most of us have become self-centered because we have not created a larger boundary around us, because our vision, our purpose of life has not expanded. We have not reviewed it. So we need to revive that element of empathy in all of us. Yeah, without empathy, we cannot serve society. Without empathy, we cannot uplift human beings. Without empathy, I cannot manage any relationship. Today, people are very good in what kind of empathy? Cognitive empathy. What is cognitive empathy? Cognitive empathy is like this, that I know what you are saying. I can completely paraphrase that to you. I know what you said to me. You said this. Yeah? That's cognitive. It's gathering perspective. So we are capturing it. Yeah? People are speaking different point. I understand that. So this amount of cognitive empathy we carry, and we understand some bit that how other persons are different from me, what they are speaking, where they are, what their mental condition is, But there is a second element which is lacking in most of us. Emotional empathy. Somebody is talking to you, somebody is in tears, coming, wanting to share the story, what happened today. And you look at your watch and say, sorry, I don't have time, I'll catch up with you a little later. Yeah, that happens. It is not family alone. I'm talking about anyone. Every day as an academic leader, I need to handle this every day. Every moment people come with different kind of problems. They will come and start speaking. I need to be aware. So I need to understand that what is happening in front of me. But I cannot get swayed away by the emotions of others. No. Being an academic leader, I need to also channelize the emotion. And channelizing the emotion to the direction which I think is good for the person. And this can only happen when I am present in the moment. I am not denying the situation. I am not putting the person on the defense. I am not rejecting the person. I am accepting the person as it is. I do not want a clone of myself and say, this fellow does not think like me, this fellow does not respond like me, therefore he is not good for nothing. Share a story before I go to the third level of empathy. There was a daughter, there was a father. Daughter was cranky. This father was in kind of village kind of scenario. She started crying and she was behaving cranky. So this father didn't know what to do. So father thought that nearby in the village there was a fair going on. So he thought, let me take my daughter there so that she will be very happy, enjoy the mela. He took the daughter and went to the mela. And what happened? He carried the daughter like this, walking. Both went walking. So what happened? Daughter started all the more, she was mad with crying, So she was like wanting to go back immediately. She said, Father, where have you brought me? We go back. We don't want to be here, right? I am not enjoying, I don't want to be here. Now this father was wondering that this is such a lovely place where the balloons are there, rides are there, fountain is there, the food is there, all kinds of things are there. But this girl is not enjoying. So in that desperation and frustration, what he did, he bent down. Girl was this height, he bent down like this. Yeah? And when he bent down like this, he could realize that, my God, whatever I was seeing, this person was not seeing. I was here, so I was able to see balloons, I was able to see rides, I was able to see food, everything. So I was enjoying. But you remember what this girl was, small little girl, she was experiencing suffocation, stress of other people. Yeah, she was not even breathing properly. So she was not seeing anything. And this was her vision. So if two people have to relate to each other, I have to relate not with my vision. I have to also be able to come back to that level and start relating to that person, whether what I am speaking to the person, whether this person will be able to appreciate, will this person receive anything from me, right? Then transaction happens, isn't it? So we start transacting without seeing which levels, where are we? If we remain mindful, then we can adjust and we can capture if we are aware, right? So then this kind of adjustment is not difficult. We can let go. Relationships can be a beautiful phenomena for us if we are able to adjust the point of view, not just proclaim that I know your point of view and I know what is happening to you. Many people come to us and we say, I know you are sad. Yeah? I know you are feeling bad. No, this is not good enough. Your responsibility is not getting over by stating that mental state of a person. So this is where it remains at the superficial level. So when we remain at the superficial level, we do not go deeper and we do not explore deeper. And therefore in today's environment, most of the kids today, if you see, they are labeled with one problem. They say that they are very good in technical domain. They are super smart in that. Yeah. But when it happens to managing relationships, they do not know how to manage relationships. Because machines will listen to you the way you want, the way you have programmed. Human beings will not listen to you the way you want. And that's the reason I am not ready to adjust. I do not know how to adjust. Life itself is a beautiful phenomena. We don't have to learn interpersonal skills. We are gifted by that. It is only that we have not paid attention to it. Something which is so natural in all of us, we don't have to learn. Yeah? By nature we have empathy. By nature we are so loving. We just have to remember, recall, and that effort will bring again empathy back, and the relationships will be beautiful. I remember that my sister complained to me. She says, I don't know, she never shares anything. She says, I ask her what happened today in the school, but she says, Mama, aap kya karoge jaan ke? I told my sister, I said, you analyze this phrase which she says. I know you cannot help me. She has already evaluated you. You have become so predictable that our wavelength is not matching, right? What I am going through every day in the college, you do not have a hang of it. So I said, you need to not understand her as a parent. You need to understand her as an individual. If you can change your approach, because $1 million thing is to understand. And even though all of us would want to believe that we are very, very, achieved people here, but when it comes to understanding, people do not demonstrate understanding. Understanding is not without empathy. So third shade of empathy is compassion. Compassionate, everybody has to show compassion. Sometimes we listen, but how do we listen? We listen with pity. We listen with sympathy. Then the transaction will be very different. So this cannot sustain. So what happens is this compassion, that you need to put yourself in other shoes definitely, but you need to understand the larger context also, the purpose also, that what is suitable for this person. And based on this mix and match, which is mix your cognition, your approach, your understanding and the feeling part together, when you combine it, it becomes compassionate. We have to show compassion. Without compassion, there are many people, they are very scared to approach anyone because they know that they will be considered to be vulnerable. They would be considered as weak personalities, that they can't manage themselves. So many people, they hide their dilemmas, they hide their issues, conflicts within, and they do not highlight in public. Leave public. In the family itself, there are many people who say, we never knew about it. Many, many cases are there. If we had at all used that empathy, results could have been very, very different. All the educational system needs an overhaul. Revamping is needed because we are not teaching robots in the class. We are teaching living human beings, and we should not take people for granted, and we should not consider the guinea pig in front of us that, okay, whatever we will give, we are the donors and they are the receivers. No, we are no longer a donors. We are no longer a beneficiary. So it has to be an interactive, mindful interaction. The last thing I would want, that how will you remain mindful that what needs to be done and not needs to be done, because you are already programmed. Let me come back to that. That 3 ways you can respond to the energy which comes in front of you. Number 1, you can transact. Transact is action-reaction mode. So whatever kind of input comes to you, whichever force comes in front of you, you return it in the same shape or you return it in the same manner, right? So that's when action reaction. So if a happy person comes in front of you, you will return happiness. If a person who is angry and abusing you, you also start abusing that person. And then later you will say, I didn't do anything, this fellow triggered it. This fellow, the way he responded, he got the response back. So what happened? I have made myself redundant. I have lost control over my choices because I have given up the entire context to outsiders. So the quality is not determined by me, quality of response is determined by others. We have handed over ourselves in the hands of situations. Yeah, I think this is transact mode, and there is no end to transaction, no? In any relationship, if you start transacting, what happens? There is a point when you are not wanting to take it forward. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction, therefore it becomes never-ending game. Second way, people tend to deal with the energy which is in front of you, and that happens in relationships. You may get up in the absorbing mode, absorb. Rather than transact, you do absorb. What happens in absorb? The word says absorption. Yeah.
You suppress your reaction.
Well, very good. So you tend to take it as it is passively and do not respond to it, and you do not resolve it. And it just goes in, yeah, without resolving. So what happens? You are suppressing it. Suppress, again another suppression. How many suppressions in life? We only come to know when one day this whistle of cooker, pressure cooker, it bursts, and then 20 years, 30 years history is in front of you. Isn't it? All of us are counting. What compromises I have done for you? Yeah? You did not do this then. You did not do this then. The look at, because you absorbed, no? You have not resolved it. It's kept there as a compromise in your mind. So something which you have compromised, you have not resolved it. And therefore it disturbs you. So you are on the receiving end. Now absorption also is not a right solution to be mindful, because whenever you will see the input, you will be responding from absorption. So that again is a readily available mode which you have already learned. Yeah. There is a third form, and I love it because I started practicing it, and something which I have not practiced, I am not sharing. Therefore you don't see any PPT, you don't see any notes. Yeah, it's all here. Something which I can profess and I can vouch, and I have seen things happening. I will only suggest that. So I take the input from multiple people and then created my own thought process like this. So third is transform. No matter what kind of energy is in front of you, but I will not go in the direction in which you want me to go. I will decide which direction I want to go. So I will channelize the energy whichever direction I think I should be taking it in. So that's transforming. Yeah? Transforming is a wonderful phenomena. Transforming gives you an opportunity to shape, change, be a catalyst in the life of others. It doesn't give you labeling. It doesn't make you judgmental. It doesn't give you that you become critical about others. आजकल लोगों को कुछ आता नहीं है. Span of attention students का कम हो गया है, isn't it? Class में ध्यान देना बंद कर दिया है. अब this is like labeling. You need to understand that if your method has not changed for years together, this is a new breed in front of you. Again, he is here, you are here, yeah, and you are wanting to connect with them. So no connection can be established unless you bring yourself here and see from their point of view, what are they looking for, what thought they are not getting in the class, why attention is not there. They do have attention. Same fellow can be attentive on the phone for hours together. Today we learn from the youngsters, no? So they have a value to add. Only we need to change the approach. They are not coming to you for information. Today information, who is giving to them? Artificial intelligence. Google is enough to get the information. So if you become equal to Google, they are not interested to come to the class. If you are giving some value addition, they are game. They look forward to value addition. And as a human being, I think we are all doing this special addition to ourselves. And I think this would have given you some sense that what I am wanting to drive at. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for this valuable session. I just have a small question. you talked about being empathetic towards other and changing our approach. Like you gave an example about the parents and their individual approach towards their parents. As far as we can see, nowadays parents are very busy. Everybody has very busy schedules, and at the same time, we barely have time to manage our issues and thinking about others. And then on top of that, changing our approach towards others is something very difficult as an individual. So ma'am, it's a very nice idea. I just got something from you. But is there any way to change this approach? Because this is very difficult if we come onto the individual level and think about others on a basic level.
See, the first bottleneck you have already created in your mind when you have labeled it difficult. So now no trying after that. Anything which is concluded in my mind beforehand, before I try it, I have already concluded it's very difficult to practice. So will I look forward to it? No. Will I try my hands into it? No, I will not. Yeah? So my commitment to it will be half-hearted. So when you define that day that you need to start doing it, then you have to become your own observer. And this observer part in you will continue to remind you that you are going into the trap. See, 100% you will not be able to show empathy on every issue. Suppose you are a doctor and you go and see a patient. Patient is suffering for past 5 days. Patient has not had any food for past 5 days. He has lost his taste. So his taste buds are, wanting some chaat or something, golgappe, right? So what will happen? If the doctor is empathetic, too empathetic, then doctor will prescribe, okay, 5 days you've not had anything, I know, I can understand what you're going through. Yeah, please give him some chaat. So what will happen? Is it suicidal? So you can't afford to be empathetic on every issue. That's where I said you need to be compassionate, yeah, using your emotional empathy and cognitive empathy put together. Try to be reasonable way. Reasonability will remain with you because you are a human being. But only rationality makes you robust, mechanical. So that mechanical part has to be little bit corroborated with this. Yeah? आप कुछ कहना चाह रहे हैं? Yes.
So you were talking about compassion. First of all, thank you for this very transformational lecture to all of us.
Thank you.
And you were talking about compassion, and I do contemplate about life. At the moment, contemplating what is the difference between compassion and love. And how do we respond with compassion, how do we respond with love, and how do we recognize how to make the difference?
Compassion comes out of love. Empathy can be my responsibility. But compassion is little more than that. And that wants little more commitment. Right? Love also wants commitment. So I have not seen love as different and compassion as different. You have to have the blend of these two. Love as a transaction will not help you. Love also has to be a transformational love. Right? So this can be a little more selfless. When there is no agenda, when there is no vested interest, that compassion stays. But whenever there is a transaction feeling in between, and some give and take has happened due to this, love is equal to give and take, then compassion can never happen. So both go hand in hand. If love is not there, compassion cannot happen. Yeah? Thank you very much.